Hi, thanks for joining us here today at Kate's Cooking and More. I'm Marie Lockwood. Today's recipe is a chocolate and pecan cookie. You can use any kind of nut that you want. I actually prefer the nut topping because it has a little bit of peanuts mixed in with the pecans. So that's what we use, but you can use any kind that you want. So let's see what we need. Okay, so for this recipe we just need a few things to begin with. First we're going to take our little bit of sugar, and you're going to make sure with brown sugar that you always pack that really tight, unlike regular sugar. Then you're going to add your butter, and you want to make sure that's softened. So I've let mine set out in room temperature for about 10-15 minutes and just kind of soften it up. You're going to add those to your mixer. You can use a hand mixer for this if you want to. I do that sometimes. Just depends on when the last time I used my KitchenAid is. Alright, and then a little bit of vanilla. That's what we're going to start with. And you're going to want to mix these together until it comes out sort of creamy. It takes just a few minutes. And of course, about halfway through, you'll of course use your spatula to scrape everything back down inside. Alright, once we've got that creamed up, we're going to take our egg, and we need to split our egg. So I'm sure you've all seen this done before. Just want the egg white to fall in the bowl and keep the yolk inside the eggshell, and just back and forth until you get all of the white out. Alright, once you've got that out, you're going to add your yolk to this recipe, and we are going to save our egg white in the refrigerator until afterwards, and we'll be using it then. Alright, and then you're just going to mix that again until the egg is mixed in, and then we're going to slowly add our flour until everything is inside. Alright, we've got that egg yolk beat in there pretty good. And like I said, just add a little flour at a time. Keep going until you got it all in there and everything's well blended. Alright, once you've got it all pretty well mixed, just go ahead and scrape off your hook. And we're going to set this entire bowl into the refrigerator for about 2 hours. That will help stiffen it up and give you a little bit more flexibility for shaping it. If you try to do it now, it's so sticky that it'll just kind of stick to your hands, and it's not really going to be helpful for what we're going to do with them. So once you've got that all cleaned off, go ahead and scrape down your sides one last time. Put everything into the bottom. It doesn't make a ton of dough, but you can double and triple the recipe to make more if you need to. Half of the kids are going this week, and that means that I get to eat them all, which is wonderful as far as flavor, not so great for your weight. So I'm making a very small batch, just one regular batch instead of a triple like normal. Alright, once you've got everything down in there, like I said, we're going to set this in the refrigerator and let it set for about 2 hours to really stiffen up, and then we'll be back. Alright, now that our dough has been in the refrigerator for a few hours, we're just going to shape it into little dough balls. You're going to get about 1.5 dozen. So this will just take you a few minutes to shape them, and then we'll be back. Alright, now that we have all of our dough in these little balls, you're going to take a whisk and using our egg white from earlier that we saved, just beat that up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, and these don't have to be perfectly round. You're going to dip them into your egg white, and then using a plate, put your chopped nuts, pecans, whatever it is that you're using. I use nut topping just because I like the pecan and the peanut together. Alright, you're going to dip in the egg white and then just roll it in the nuts until it's fairly well covered, and then place it onto your cookie sheet. You're just going to do that with all of them. Alright, now that our cookies are all on the tray, I am using a cake decorating tool that's basically a stick with a metal ball at the end. And just placing a small indentation into each of the cookies. And it doesn't need to be perfect because you're going to end up having to do it again about halfway through. They kind of rise and then they close up quite a bit. So you just have to get a small one started so that you can see it for when you're coming back to it later. You can use your thumb or the end of a spoon. I don't like to use my thumb just because it gets underneath my fingernails. Even though they're called thumbprint cookies, that's how you used to do it. And if you use a spoon, sometimes the dent gets a little bit too big for what you're wanting to do. So I use the tool. And you can buy these at, a Michael's, anywhere that sells cake decorations or tools. Alright, once you've got your little dent here, we're going to put these in the oven for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to take them out and put our dents back into them. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, now that they're out, we're just going to put a dent back into our cookies with a spoon. Do not go too far down. You don't want to put a hole through the cookie. It's not like a donut kind of thing. We want just a little cavity to put our chocolate in later. So we're just recreating that. Alright, once we've got all of our cavities back in here, you're just going to put it back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes just to get the cookie completely cooked through. And you should notice on the nuts that are on the edges that they start to turn a little more golden brown, and that's really what you want so that they're cooked a little bit. So we're just going to pop this back in for 10-15 minutes and then we'll be back. Alright, and those are our finished cookies. You can see that the dollops of chocolate are quite large. You can put less if you want, but I like a little bit of the chocolate in every bite. So I add a little bit extra. And that is it for today. So thanks for joining us here at Cakes, Cooking, and More. Have a great day.